Hello, this is Azrael, and this is another question I received by a viewer about can it be possible? Is it possible to really look at a ritual setting and tell what was going on? What was the intention? What was the motivation? And I'm going to answer this as simply as I can, and probably even use this video as an introduction into another topic, which some people find offensive, which will be black magic or uh, if you don't want to call it black magic, defensive magic or offensive magic. We'll get into that because, first let's start off. Energy is just energy. It's neither black nor white. It's your intention. This is the going understanding. However, as energy is just energy, the instant you imprint that energy with a negative message to do something, you might as well just call it what it is, black or white magic. Now, this is very popular because most magicians, most witches, are trying to get rid of old negative stigmas. And it's a good thing to do that. But also, when they do that, they tend to, well, I mean, it's everybody's opinion. In my opinion, I will still call it black magic and I will still call it white magic. Even though I will teach that it is just energy and magic itself is neither black nor white. It's your intention. But just like a piece of paper, let's say the paper is energy. The instant you write your message on that piece of paper and send it off in the mail, like you do with your magic, you take energy and you imprint a intention onto this energy and send it off into the universe. That letter is either a letter of recommendation and praise, or it's hate mail, calling people names or wishing bad upon somebody. That letter that you wrote on the piece of paper has turned that piece of paper into something positive or negative. It's still paper, it's still a message, but the message has changed that paper into hate mail or non-hate mail. Okay, so either way, it's a point of view, it's a point of perspective. So start again. Starting out, yes, it is white. It is neither white nor dark. Magic is neither white or dark. But after the spell is cast, it damn sure can be argued that it is. Anyway, the simple answer to this is no. You can't just look at most ritual settings or evidence and understand right away what it really is. The reason for this is because magic is neither black nor white. Magic is just magic. The items used are just items until they are programmed. So, what can heal can destroy. I used in one of my videos, I love using the same one because it's so simple. Rose petals or roses can be used in protection magic, love magic, beauty magic, youth magic, but it can also be used in cursing love, tearing down protection, or even being used, its thorns can even be used as a form of attack or protection, whatever. So, whatever you use to bring something beneficial can also be used to be negative. So, in the end, you could see all the ingredients in the leftover non-discarded ritual, but you still can't fully, with 100% confidence, know for fact what that ritual was used for unless you understand the context of the ritual performed. It's and that's kind of hard to do because again, you don't know if this cinnamon was used to bring success or you know use somebody to strip away one's passion. You just don't know. Now, here's the thing: the best way I have been able to talk about discerning what people have done, if the context is not there, which is yes, the ingredients. We go back to the ingredients. Now, this might sound confusing because I just said that the ingredients you can't look at the ingredients and inherently know what they did. But first of all, if a lot of witches don't think outside the box. I'm not saying all witches don't, but most witches that I have encountered usually do not write their own spells, or they're asking, and because they tend to be curious and they learn and they never get past writing up to writing their own spells and performing their own rituals and so forth. They're always more comfortable in that little box of do this, do this, do that. That's what the book says. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. And because of this, I mean, you might be able to look at a ritual and say, well, this was definitely a love spell because I know this spell. I know that writing somebody's name and sticking it in a lemon and then sewing it up is a souring spell or a binding spell. All right, it's kind of, you can grasp that by some of the ingredients and how the ritual has been done, if you know how the ritual is done. Okay, but the ingredients is what I'm talking about here. You see, let's go to it. A thought experiment. When you think of certain things, our ingredients fall into three categories basically. You have the very positive things. Let's say the things that you eat and cook with that smell good are almost always considered positive and are the main ingredients in many positive magics, even though they are used for negative magics. And then you have the kind of neutral. Let's say uh, I've used rose to represent a very popular positive. Let's use something like chili powder. This is neutral. You eat it, all right, and it's used to, and because when you eat it, it gives you, oh man, it's fiery, it's hot, it's energetic. Automatically, the brain associates it with power or energy, raw energy that you can probably use for passion to fuel a love spell or any other spell to give it more energy. So it's an energy builder, but it's also used to hex and cause hexes more so than probably say the flower, right? Because that fiery capsaicin that burns your tongue is offensive. So this like attracts like, because this element is offensive. You can use it for offensive magic. Okay, but it's kind of neutral, more so neutral than say the positive. You think of a kitten, you can't think of something evil unless you're going to eat it. All right, kittens are known to be cuddly, playful, lovable. It's really hard to look at a kitten and say you're pure evil. Okay, our brains just associate certain things with certain things and can't go to the extreme of the opposite. And then that third category, which is completely offensive, say rotting meat, doo doo, blood. A lot of these things are offensive and scary. So when you see a pool of blood, you know somebody got hurt or something got hurt, and it's just not a good thing. Something might have lost its life, but whatever it is, it's in pain or was. Okay, love is used in a lot of positive magics too. I mean, blood is used in a lot of positive magics too, and bindings and so forth. So it's not completely negative, but within this context, you can't help but think something bad happened. Graveyard dirt is another good example. Graveyard dirt is used in good magic and bad magic, but because graves tend to scare most people in our collective conscious look at graveyard dirt in a negative light. As a matter of fact, online in Facebook, you have these witches that are throw that dirt away. It's disrespectful. Okay, you don't know if it's disrespectful or not. That might have been given respectively. It might have came from your own parents' grave, and you give homage to your parents, and your parents might have practiced the same thing, and now they're dead, and they like while they're living said it's okay to use my dirt or my ashes or so forth, whatever kind of. You don't know. You can't generalize like that. Just because you find it offensive doesn't mean jack shit. But in the end, you see what I'm talking about? Even witches that try to practice still are in that little box of what society says, what is bad, what is good, and so forth. And these ingredients, when you look at them, if you understand, again, you still can't tell 100%, but in a ritual for good things, usually you have good things, just good or neutral things. there is usually at least one ingredient or at least one action that is tied into the beneficial ingredients, which root it in the negative. So, what I'm saying is the presence of one specific ingredient that is widely accepted as negative could indicate that the positive ingredients are being pushed into the negative aspect or the negative range of the magic at hand. And this is one of the best ways you can assume with more uh, logical and inductive reasoning than just not, it could, in the end, it could be anything that they might be tapping into the beneficial parts of, say, the graveyard dirt. Okay. But with the psychology of black magic or dark magic or offensive magic, whatever you want to call it, I'll leave that up to you because I'm going to call it what I'm going to call it. Uh, there is at least one ingredient or one action which grounds the action into the negative. Okay. If you find a doll and it's been stabbed repeatedly in various parts, say the chest or the eyes, clearly this is a clear message that anything else that you found that could be used positive, like say maybe rose petals, it's using those rose petals to attach the negative action with the emotion of love. So maybe this person was betrayed and is wanting them to be emotionally pain, and being and blinding the doll with the attack in the eyes, so they could never see who actually casted the spell, or it could be their feelings are hurt and they don't want them uh, to see another opportunity to hurt that other person. But whatever it is, it might not be black magic, but it is defensive in this nature. So you could still kind of guess, but if you understand my example, which is I'm pulling from the top of my head, and I hope you guys can understand what I'm talking about, that you could have all the ingredients and they could be positive or negative. Certain ingredients are more associated with positive, neutral, or even negative energies, and it is the addition of the negative that will bind its intention. So it's easier for the person if you know the ingredients or the action. You can definitely know what kind of most likely what kind of magic is at hand. Obviously, because let's say a freezer spell, the cold is great when you're hot, but it can be offensive in its extreme. So somebody frozen in ice, you can clearly tell that they're trying to keep that person from moving against them or somebody else. Kind of like finding that same doll tied up with binding thread, right? You can understand by the action on how a ritual can most likely, but so you can have an educated guess, but no, you never will know 100% unless you are the spellcaster about your intentions. So I hope I answered that. All right, thank you for watching.